live. I was too busy reading something on my screen. It's Coach Tulin. I am the plus size health and fitness motivator. So I want to talk to you guys today about weight loss for carb lovers. So everything I'm going to share with you today is based off of my 20 years experience, and it's backed by science, and it has the fingerprints and heartbeats of thousands of women that I have personally coached that have had amazing results, and there's no hard workout involved, dieting, restrictions, any of that, okay? So if I've lost 100 plus pounds, okay? And in that process, I would lose, gain, and then something shifted. And I gotta understand that I was nearly 400 pounds. And as a family, we went broke and homeless, not because we sucked at what we do, but to protect ourselves and our employees. And the rebuild from that a little over a decade ago was the worst experience of our going into it and coming out of it. I'll never forget the day that I'm like, I'm done. I am done beating up on myself. I am done not being happy. Like everything has been taken away from me. But what was left was between my ears. And I was recognizing what I was carrying between my ears was carrying the most weight of them all, far more than the 375 plus pounds that was on my body. It was like millions of pounds of pressure and weight. And I developed a deep fear of the ocean. I used to surf when I was younger, and I was a pretty crappy one. So if anything fantastic that I did on the waves was usually because I was falling. But I wasn't a strong swimmer. Being anorexic didn't help. As many of my friends who played water polo or were avid surfers themselves or swimmers. And I remember I got pulled under in Newport. I live in Orange County. And in Newport Beach, they have these like rock jetties that go out. And they're not like all the way. It's like, it like separates these little portions of the beach in Balboa Island. And we're out surfing early in the morning. And I remember I was sucked out, and I was in front of one of those rock jetties, and the waves were pounding. And my friends were able to get past the surf line. And I remember like, I just like stuck my feet into the sand, and I was like parallel to the ground because I was trying not to get washed up on the rocks. So that was one experience. There was like 3 experiences. Another one, I was trying out for surf team. There's these huge waves, and they're walled. It's going whoosh. And I remember our surf coach was like running down the ocean trying to score the beach, trying to score us because it was just pulling us down. And then like the third and final one that really was like the thing for me was, because the ocean story is really important to all this, is same place, by the way, with their little rock jetty thingies. I was out surfing and I saw a dorsal fin. And I got on my surfboard and I boogie boarded back in, like with my hands clasped around the nose, my feet up, and I rode that surfboard in until my fins on the surfboard like went into the sand, and like I stopped. Okay, so I was probably 16 at the time, and there's this kid. He's like, "Ma'am, who you calling ma'am?" But anyways, like, "Ma'am, that's a dolphin." I don't know why he has a southern accent, but this particular case in Huntington Beach, California, he does. And he goes, "That's a dolphin." He goes, "Dolphins swim like this. Sharks swim like this." And now, listen, y'all, I'm not going to hang out long enough to find out the dolphin goes like this or it's doing this. And then my husband and I went to SeaWorld years ago, but before it was like, ooh, like we knew all the things we know now. Anyway, so before that time, we went and they have a dolphin there that swims like a shark. Anyway, so out of those experiences, I developed a deep fear of the ocean. And so we went broke and homeless. We had nothing left. And the only thing I had was my brain. That's all I had. My brain, my body, 375 plus pounds. My husband his MS had advanced from all the stress, everything's going on. I have 2 little boys. And for the first time, I walked out into the water past my ankles, and I'm like, this is it. I've got nothing left. My health is in a tank. I can barely move my body, and I'm struggling to tell my husband that I am having a problem moving my body because he has multiple sclerosis. So, you know, in my brain, of course, it's far worse than me, but I used food as a coping mechanism through the stressful time. I gained 180 pounds in like no time. And I walked out into the water, and I just turned my head up towards the sky, and I think I got as high as like the waves were kind of lapping on my chest. By the way, interesting enough, same place that had the rock jetties. You remember that cream? Holy crappers, I just realized that. And I just looked up and I'm just like, this is it, it's all I've got. And in that moment, I made the decision to no longer fear the ocean. Within reason, y'all. I'm not going to be swimming out into like the deep, dark recess of the ocean now. But I mean, at least I can get to the ocean now. And not too long ago, I was in the ocean, a couple of years ago, I was in the ocean. And there was not one, but 2 baby sharks swimming around my feet. I swear on all things holy. What is the purpose of all of that? Decision. Decision, okay? Making a choice on what lens I chose to view things from, okay? And so this was probably one of the deepest, darkest times of my life. My negative self-talk, my relationship with myself was terrible. I could never say the things I said to myself to my kids. And so I was a hardcore fast food eater. I would get fast food as a snack on the way home to go and eat my fast food. I didn't drink any water. I only drank soda. Terrible relationship with myself. I would gorge and binge to the point to where I wanted to vomit. So I had eating disorders and disordered eating. I had terrible sleep. I had just everything was in the tank. And so when I started on this chapter, or this book of my journey, there were times that I lost and gained, but I was still trying to apply different ways of eating to the same brain that was beating the flip out of me, right? Like using me as a punching bag. And so every time I would bring something else into my world, I was applying it, baby shark, dude, totally true. I was applying it to my current state of being, to my current way of thinking about myself, the lens I look through the world. And so it never progressed me in any way that was sustainable. It was always short term because it was too outside of my own relationship with myself that it didn't align. So I'd gain and lose and gain and lose and gain and lose until I remembered the ocean story and the decision. And I was like, I'm done with looking at food as good and bad. I am done with like losing weight for some idea of self-worth or being validated by the outside. This is where I am. This is what it is. And I want to do things differently. So even through those dark times when we lost everything, like I said, it was to protect ourselves from a really crappy business partner. I have been coaching women for now over 20 years in different ways, but always about the weight we carry between the ears. Okay, so I'm the former national spokesman for the largest PCOS organization. I'm the grandmama behind the plus size fitness movement you see online today. I have helped transform billion-dollar brands to better communicate with us, as well as little brands. And the part that I love the most is working with individual women just like myself, to help them change their relationship with themselves, fitness, and nutrition in a way that doesn't require workouts, deprivation, misery. Actually, the opposite. Becky sent me a message this morning, a woman that's part of my coaching groups and also just recently started doing one-on-one coaching with me. And she shared with me since January of last year, since January of this year, she's lost 14 pounds by simply applying my 4-step system. Everything I'm going to share with you today is backed by science and has the fingerprints and heartbeats of the thousands of women that I have personally coached. And so a lot of people, when they offer something out there, they try to offer a lot of things. I made the conscious decision about 4 or 5 years ago to really deep dive in this information that I'm providing to you. And so everything is backed through experiences. I smell fire and I hear helicopters. So something's going on out there. And it works. Now, here is a little spoiler alert. I very, very rarely, so like if you're part of my class this weekend where I'm actually going to walk you through the steps, very limited space, I rarely start people off with nutrition. And the reason why I don't is because it's the one that has the heaviest negativity and experiences and is the hardest on us, okay? So a lot of people think that they need to change the way that they eat, but the way that I teach it is that I help you make the most powerful part of your day, the 96 to 98%, anything outside of a workout, help you make the big shift. Change your relationship with your brain so you can change the relationship with your fitness and nutrition. But we never start with nutrition. If in the case you were at that point, you've retrained your brain, you've worked with me, etc., you had a healthy relationship with food, you've untangled, or maybe you've worked with a therapist or another life coach, something along those lines, weight loss for the carb lover or people who eat carbs is really key. Now, I will never put down any tools that are out there. And tools are anything from like a workout to nutrition plans to fitness equipment to your shoes or a sports bra, and dare I say weight loss surgery, or if you choose an injectable and things like that. They are all tools. The tool is only powerful as your current brain set. Let me say that again. The tools are only as powerful as your current brain set. So if you're using the tool to change your brain set, you're still doing it backwards, okay? It's no different than like, I'm gonna start a new diet on Monday and it doesn't work, right? Okay. So if in the case that you were at the point that you were gonna make a shift with nutrition, here's how I do it. And when this is part of the steps that I help people, that you can actually apply this if it makes sense for you. I'm currently battling sciatica after a fall. I've got a health team. I'm not asking for any solicited advice. As a matter of fact, I'm an expert in things that I teach you except on sciatica. My coaching that I do is to share with you, not to receive input and advice. If you would like to offer that to me, you're welcome to send me a private message. However, I will probably still say no. It's inappropriate, okay? So no unsolicited advice here. I'm just here to share. If this is for you, great. If it's not, move on, okay? So when my sciatica was really busting me out, like it was really, really tough, where it was difficult to move, difficult to walk, dare I say even breathing, and I was laying on my back to kind of rest it and going through some other rehabilitation procedures to help me through it, it would not make sense for me to eat in the same way as I would if I was strength training or if I was out enjoying my new love, which is pickleball. The way I would eat for those kinds of activities would be very different than how I'd eat when I was resting. Does this mean that we're always super clear about it in the moment? No, it does not, okay? So if I'm laying on, or even if I'm just chilling, like I just don't want to do, no reason, I'm just chilling on the couch. If I eat in a way that is better aligned with activity, and I do so while laying flat on my back and not having any activity, my body is going to respond to it. It's going to respond to it. And having been someone who's lost 100+ pounds and kept it off, those fat cells are still there, ready to do a job. And what the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna fill up with water. So if I'm eating in a way that is unaligned with my current activity level, it's gonna make sense that my body's going to respond to it. And that probably means that my scale's gonna go up, I'm gonna feel bloated, etc. Those are all temporary. Weight loss brain set will make us feel like, see, every time I start something, I just start to gain weight and fall apart. Health gain brain set, which is what I teach you, is very different. That's interesting. So most of our realizations happen upon looking back, not going in. So once we have experiences like all those workouts you've ever done in the past, all those diet programs, etc., there are bits of information, relevant information that you can take forward with you, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to leave behind, okay? Whether it's bad information, it doesn't apply to you, or didn't apply to you in your current brain set, okay? So it's often upon reflection that we recognize this, and that's fine. And so here's the situation, and it's completely neutral. I laid on my back, dealing with the level of pain I had in sciatica, or just resting, whatever it is. And I ate a lot of carbohydrates. And I ate in a way that was more aligned with being active. The situation is neutral. If I just look at the data, that's the data upon looking back in reflection, okay? I don't add the negative self-talk, the beating myself up, the self-judgments, the good, the bad food, etc., because I've retrained my brain. I changed my relationship with myself, which has also changed my relationship with fitness and nutrition. And that's what I teach other people. And that's what I'll be taking people through in the last few spots that I have this weekend at brainsetgo.com. Again, it's brainsetgo.com if you want to grab one of those final spots. $100 off personalized coaching for $49. This is how accessible it is, okay? So upon reflection, I ate in a way that was more aligned with a more active day. Fine, no big deal. So what I end up doing, oh, hi, thank you. So what I end up doing is, upon reflection, I recognize that it is what it is. They are just facts. No good bucket, no bad bucket. And so in the coming days, I can adjust accordingly, not to punish myself or undo what happened that day or those days or weeks, as an example, but instead upon moving forward. Every day is a fresh day to restart, right? Every day is an opportunity to choose how you want to feel that day, okay? So for a lot of women I personally coach, they're not really attached to their feelings because they're approaching 40, over 40, and they stuff those feelings down because either their parents have put hands on them in some level of abuse. They were told, if you cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Boys don't cry. And so often we use food as comfort and as a companion, okay? So these are women that I work with who have deep traumas that are attached to food. Another reason why we typically don't start with nutrition. As a matter of fact, I don't even call it nutrition. I call it nutrients. Why? Because we don't have any stories attached to nutrients. Like vitamin A flip you out, vitamin C, oh my gosh. Like unless you like had a lot of vitamin C and then end up getting diarrhea. But the reality is nobody's got any stories attached to nutrients. Little thing, little brain tricks. So what I do is start moving forward. And what I teach other people is just recognizing what's going on and then making tweaks. So what I would look at is what went well and what can I tweak? And the reason why we work in tweaks is because a lot of women I work with struggle with time, their relationships with themselves, and it's like this chaotic all or nothing, okay? And so we work in little tiny tweaks. What we're doing is we're flying under the brain's radar of overwhelm, and they're just like little grains of sand, little tweak that you can make that makes the biggest impact. And so if, for example, I was laying on my back with no activity level and I ate in a way that was better aligned with having a more active day, then, and my scale could go up like 7-8 pounds, you guys, those fat cells are there. I've lost over 100 pounds. Like those fat cells are there to fill up, right? No big deal, because I recognize that weight gain can be because of lack of sleep, increased stress. Yes, what I ate, or salty foods, or injuries, or new movement patterns, or whatever. There's so many different reasons. And I can shift that scale like that because there's no story attached to it. Something is on fire somewhere. It's over that way towards the wetlands. We got to pay attention to the wetlands that are on fire because that can move really fast. Okay, so upon reflection and looking, something's on fire around us, and we have these huge wetlands, and there was a fire there before, and it would blow through there. So if I have to hop off, it's for safety reasons, but I think I'm fine. Okay, so I would simply make tweaks moving forward, okay? So the tweaks moving forward would be as simple as this. If I'm going to be active, I'm going to eat accordingly. If I'm not, I'm going to eat accordingly. And if I happen to do the opposite, it's okay too. Ish happens. Ish happens. It's that simple. So if I'm going to play pickleball, it makes more sense for me to eat more carbohydrates, etc., to give me the energy and the nutrients and the things that I need in order to perform on the court. It also makes sense for me to have the protein. It also makes sense for me to have the fat. Like, I don't count macros. And so people who are more weight loss focused, they're more weight loss brain set, they're going to immediately go, how many grams of carbs do I need for this activity and that? And the reality is we need to undo that way of thinking. I'm not saying that macro counting is bad or wrong. What I'm saying is the questions being asked is more aligned with weight loss versus health gains. And we should be tapping into how we feel and what aligns with that, and being able to look at data, taking out the emotion of it, and then just seeing it for what it is, and then shifting accordingly moving forward. So tonight I'm playing pickleball. So starting yesterday, I made sure that I was well fueled. I went and did some rehabby workout this morning. I adjusted my workout this morning in anticipation for my pickleball tonight. So it was in a way to help me with my pickleball and being nourished. and getting fueled, okay? And then the same thing I'm eating today. So I want to go crush it on the court. I want to go out and compete tonight because it's a pickleball league, beginner league. I don't care. I show up. So I'm going to make sure that my body's in alignment, and I'm going to make sure that my nutrition's in alignment. So my carb intake, excuse me as I cough, is higher today, and actually starting yesterday. So my carb intake is higher, and so is my protein, so that I have the energy and I have the sustainability. If I'm weight loss brain set, then it's like, how little can I eat and how much can I burn? That is something I would have absolutely undone. If I could go back and redo everything, I would have erased that from the get-go. The moment that I let go of that, the moment that I started tapping into me and how I want to feel and valuing and seeing the worth in myself versus looking at everything through the lens of other people, things changed. So I really had to untangle what was going on between the ears. I really had to start here before I worked in nutrition. So if this information was helpful to you, I would love, or if the information is most powerful when you learn how to actually apply it to you. So in this live that I've done with you is to hopefully spark just a new way of thinking. Because even if I laid everything out for you right now, step by step by step, it is the opposite of your current brain set, most likely. And you won't be able to apply it in a way that will impact you. You will apply it in a way that will solidify your current way of doing things, and I don't want that to happen to you. So I would like to personally help you be able to undo that. What I hope you get from today's live is that spark and that realization that there's a different way of looking at things. Just like, And that's all you really need right now, because that's interesting, is that little spark you need, okay? To recognize it's just a new way of doing things. And then just looking at it, you start saying, well, how many calories do you need to have, and how many grams, and I've got to track my food and things like that. That's the stuff we want to get rid of. I'm not saying that tracking food's bad or understanding macros or any of those things, and those can play a really healthy, vital role. But if you have any negative attachment to that way of doing things, then there's no point in continuing it or taking life-changing information that I just gave you a little taste of that has impacted and transformed thousands of women that I personally coach who are just like you. I'd rather you walk away from this live going, that's interesting. Maybe there's something possible from it. And then learning the step-by-step. So this weekend I have the class. You can also check out my plus size fit tips. It's plussizefittips.com. You can go there. There's information there. I am going to start going live more often. I don't know how much more often. I've really been in a very quiet place this past year. I haven't been sharing a lot of my workouts and things like that because, again, people walk in on that page, on that chapter, in that part of my book and assume that's what I did to lose the weight, and that's not. It's where I am at that point of my journey. And so what I've really taught people, even though I'm known as the plus size modification queen, is the catalyst behind the plus size fitness movement that you see online today, and the impact that I've made in both the plus size industry and the health and fitness industry, who both said that I didn't belong. It hurts my heart to do anything that further solidifies your current identity that's keeping you stuck. And instead, I want to introduce you to new ways of thinking about yourself, becoming safe with yourself, and shifting your relationship with yourself, which is really what my coaching has been all along for the past 20 years. It's always been about the weight between your ears. So if you'd like to shift your relationship with yourself, fitness, and nutrition, you're welcome to join me this weekend. There's not that many spots left. Take my hand. I'll walk you through the steps. As soon as you register, it's $100 off. It's $49 for personalized deep coaching. I want it accessible. I do keep it small because as soon as you get registered, I send you a questionnaire immediately to your inbox that helps me get to know you, your goals, your struggles. I want to know you before we sit together this weekend, this private small group of other women just like you. And when I promise safe space, I promise a safe space, okay? For my own mental health and most importantly, for yours. I will personally walk you through the steps. You will learn the 4 simple steps. But first we will work in the brain set, and then you will know your personal recipe and how long you should do everything to transform your life. And some of you guys who come through this weekend, may be that nutrition's where you start. For the vast majority of you guys, it will not be where you start. And you're gonna understand why. You're gonna understand the why. You're gonna understand the how. You're gonna learn where the stuff has come from for you. And you're gonna learn how to let go and learn how to be able to tap into yourself. You've been practicing your entire life, the mechanisms in you, but it's been in a way to help hold you back. But now we're gonna take that mechanism and help it powerfully propel you forward. Powerfully propel you forward, all right? This is my current live that I'm doing. I don't know how often I'm gonna do it. Is it Bria? I think it is. But I highly recommend hopping in this weekend. And people are like, I'm busy, I'm doing things. You can listen to it on commute. Like, there's ways to do it. I work with women who don't know how to make time for themselves, or they don't have time for themselves, or they struggle because they get whatever time they have, they give it to other people. But I highly, highly recommend that if this is intriguing to you, that you carve out 2.5 hours a day. It's 11 a.m. Pacific until, 1:30 Pacific. For your time zone, just look it up. I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern. Anyways, you can pop it in, but I know for sure it's 11 p.m. Pacific. It's both days, and you get lifetime access to the replays, okay? Sophia, you're so pretty and empowering. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just threw clothes on, but I think these colors are kind of working for me. Like, just like, it's looking good on camera. It's kind of fun. Like, in person, like, I don't know, because I'm wearing sky blue shorts, but I feel cute. I feel cute. I am cute. Thank you, honey. My honey said I'm cute. Hi, it's Lauren, I think. She says, highly recommend jumping into her course. It's actually live coaching, but yes, there's a course that can attach to it. So happy I did. Even when I think I'm not doing good, I listen to her, and you are where you are supposed to be. That is right. That is right. I'm going to teach you about becoming your own Google Maps. Spoiler alert. In order to get to your destination, you need to know where you're starting from. And no matter how many wrong turns you make, or pit stops, or things, or flat tires, or tune-ups, or anything like that come along the way, Google Maps will still get you to where you want to go. So I'm going to be your Google Maps to start with, and then I teach you how to be your own Google Maps. So you're never off track. I type slow. Did you say you were writing a book? I actually have a book in the works. It has had to be shelved twice, unfortunately. So writing a book is a lot of time and effort, and I'm so excited about the team that I'm working with, but we had a lot go on, and it was difficult to focus on it, to be honest with you. So it's just on the shelf. It's just on the shelf. It'll come out when it's supposed to come out. Anybody else have any questions? Only 9 of you guys here. But what else what do you got on your mind? You want to say hi? You can say hi. Was this helpful to you? It's like, I remember, so my husband, are you technically a physicist, baby?
Yes.
Okay, so I never want to say incorrect. So my husband's a physicist, and when we went broke and homeless, I decided to go back to college. And so one of the classes I needed to take was physics. And I remember, like, awesome. I literally sleep with a man who's now going to become my physics tutor. So I sleep with my tutor. And so here's my physics class, right? And he says, so I needed help with something. He said, it's so hard for me to explain this physics to you because you haven't learned the other stuff. In order to explain it to you, I kind of have to, like, bring up the other stuff. So he's like, there's no beginning or end of physics, right? I'm like, well, that makes sense. It's the same thing about your relationship with yourself, fitness and nutrition. There is a starting point, but it's like, when I'm sharing on social media, it's such general conversation versus when we're working together, it's very personalized to you. And so I always recommend, when people watch my lives or other people's lives, it's, what is the nugget that you pulled from it? What is the little something that made you say, or it could be a big aha or takeaway. It could be just the realization, oh, I didn't realize that, or that's possible, or maybe it's something you're doing and it reconfirms it, or it's just knowing that you're not alone. Like, there's so many powerful ways to look at social media and the content that's being provided to you. But we don't need more tips, tricks, and hacks, to be honest with you. Even though I have plus size fit tips, you can go to plussizefittips.com and get them. And I send them out pretty regularly. What we really need is to change our relationship with ourselves. I am a certified life coach. I'm certified in fitness. Like I utilize all this information and all my experiences. But what's most important is that what I'm sharing with you is based on the results of thousands of women I've personally coached. Their fingerprints and heartbeats all over it. Lauren right here is talking about it. I'm not sharing anything that isn't true. Fitness and nutrition, but most importantly, a relationship with ourselves, is so truly a simplified process that takes application, and it requires you to F up fast and often because you get the clarity from taking the messy action. What's more important is for us to be heard and seen and understood. Heard, seen, and understood. Once we can start from that place, that's where the magic really changes. So I am you. I am you. And the other women I coached are you. It's just so incredible to have created something, to be a part of something that is based on women like you and I. So again, that class is this weekend. It's brainsetgo.com. If you'd like to get my plus size fit tips, you can go to plussizefittips.com. That's another option for you. Lauren says, that's so cool. And yes, very helpful. Thanks so much. You are so welcome. Oh, that's not Lauren. Sorry. I need my glasses. I'm going to be 50. I'm going to be 50. I'm going to be 50. My name is Sally OMalley. I have the sound saved. I am ready to kick, stretch, and kick. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's SNL. If you know Sally OMalley, hit me with a Sally in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. I turned 50 in November. I'm actually really excited about it, but I'm not putting any like pressure on myself. Oh my God, I'm turning 50 and I gotta look a certain way and be a certain way. But you know what I wanna be? I wanna continue to feel happy, peaceful, calm, making an impact in other people's lives while impacting my own, teaching other people how to pour into themselves so they can give people the best of them versus the rest of them, and just change people's relationship with themselves. So I'm interested in this class, but I'm traveling this weekend. How often is it offered? So I have ADHD, and I can't tell you how often it's going to be offered, to be honest with you. As much as I would love for everybody to be on their live, quite frankly, 70% of the people are not on live. So what you can do is, if this feels like something you really want to do, I would register. You get a replay for life. And then if you said you're traveling, so what I tell people is, I'm not a big believer in multitasking, but sometimes we just have to kind of meet us there. And especially for my ADHD sisters out there, while you're traveling, who says you can't pop in an earplug or listen as you can or have the replay? You know what I'm saying? So don't put an unnecessary boulder in front of you, because I'll tell you this, and I need my glasses. Is it J-A-E-R-U 2011? So I'm talking to. I think I said the letters all right. Maybe I should cover one eye. Let me put it this way. Think of somebody that's super, super important to you, that you would do anything for, and you put the travel boulder in front of you in a 2-lane road in a wide open desert. Would you find a way to get over on the other side? Fight that hard for you. Travel actually doesn't get in the way of this coaching. It's a great time to apply what you're able to receive during that time. And you'll see what I mean. Just letting you know. If you decide to do it, make sure you answer the questions. It'll be sent to your inbox. It helps me get to know you, your goals, your struggles, and take that messy action about learning how to create those little cracks of time. My most successful students are not the ones who have a lot of time or don't have things in front of them. They're the ones who utilize what I call potty training, which is just those 5 minutes at a time that you have. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you. Bria Monet, laugh out loud saying, are you my ADHD sister? Yeah. Girl, that's me. Any hiccup? Anybody else have any questions? So the helicopter's gone. I don't smell fire anymore, so I don't think the wetlands are on fire. Funny story, the wetlands caught on fire a couple of years ago. I'm hosing off my hoop, I don't know what hoop is, my roof, and my neighbors are all standing there watching. It's like these big particles falling from the sky, right? Well, we have moved here from an area that was prone to wildfires, so I don't mess around. And so like all my neighbors are out like, you know, totally fascinated what's going on. I'm like, do you know how fast that fire is traveling through that field right now? Like, anyway, so when I smell smoke, when I hear the helicopters, like even though I live by the beach, I still know that kind of stuff can rip through a neighborhood. So there you go. All right, anybody else have any other questions? Anything to say? Gosh, you can even get some personalized one-on-one coaching right now. How cool would that be? There's only 10 of you guys. If you could change something in with your relationship yourself, fitness or nutrition, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. What would it be? What's the first thing that comes to your head? What's the first thing that comes to your head? If there's something you're like, I would love to, or if you can't think of what it is that you want, think of something you no longer want. And then what you want would be the opposite of that. So you can do a don't. That's okay too. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. There's 12 of you guys. Let's see what you guys come up with. I'll give you guys like 20 seconds to write something out. And if nobody wants one-on-one personalized coaching, then we don't have to do it today. We don't have to do it today. Kind of see what comes up. I love coaching people. I love being able to help shift the way they see things. All right. Well, looks like nobody has any questions or needs any personalized coaching right now, and that's okay. You don't need to. I do hope to be live more often. I will pop on live when it makes sense to me and my brain and my life. Again, I just hope to give you a perspective shift on my lives. I got a question. Just something for you to think about and realize that change is possible for you. Oh gosh, I have to, J-Roo, I think it's J-Roo. That's what I'm gonna call you because that's what my eyes are seeing right now and I can't lean any further back to see what it is your name is. Okay. I am ravenous in the morning, no matter if I eat eggs, egg whites or not. I chew gum, I drink water before breakfast, nothing seems to work. Could it be that you are just hungry and your body needs food? Let me tell you one of my favorite breakfasts that I eat. And then I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why I eat this first. It is, number one, such a great balance in that when I don't have it and I actually haven't had it for breakfast in a while now, I typically don't get tired of it. I just got out of the practice of eating it. But my husband says, I can tell when you eat that breakfast and when you don't, okay? So, I like breakfast to feel, well, it depends. It depends on what my activity level is going to be. So if I'm going to go work out, I try not to go work out early in the morning, but in that case, if it's too soon after I wake up, then I'll sometimes go work out fasted because I'm just not ready to put food, like I'm just not ready to receive it. But usually about by the time we go and work out, this is my breakfast. It is, between half a cup and a fourth cup of gluten-free oats, which I get from Trader Joe's. Usually it's half a cup because I'm hungry. And I'll put in 8 ounces of egg whites and I'll put it in a magic bullet. Like literally I can cook, I can make it, I can blend it, make it, clean it up all within like literally 5 minutes, okay? So I have a magic bullet. I throw it in there, 8 ounces of egg whites, like half a cup of oats. If half a cup of oats feels too heavy for you, you can do a fourth cup, whatever suits your needs. And then I put that on a pan. So my pan actually happens to be square, so I like it thinner, but you can thicken it up if you want to. So the less oats I have, the less thick it is. I cook everything on high because, hello, ADHD. I cook it, flip it over, boom, done. And then I'll either put a little maple syrup on it, some honey, one or the other. I don't like both together, or in this particular concoction. And I'll add some butter to it. I like a good quality butter. And then, what else? And then it depends. I'll add some fruit to it. So if I want more carbs, maybe it's like half a banana. But I typically like a berry. Blueberries are really good with it. I've seen people blend it with blueberry, strawberry, whatever. Whatever. Sometimes I have mangoes, like whatever's around, like whatever is yummy. And I just have a little bit of that. And it's just, I just love the balance and I am talking macros at this point, just the macro balance of it just feels so good in my body, and I feel satiated. So if I am ravenous in the morning and I'm hungry, then I clue into the fact that my body needs food. There's something I need to eat. And it may be the definition or the feelings that you're attaching to this idea of being hungry. Hungry is a lot like thirsty. If I've reached hunger, I have missed all the cues. So why am I missing the cues? And typically I'm missing the cues is because my brain set over time has been taught to ignore those cues because of weight loss mentality. So if you are ravenous, it's telling you something, J-Roo, I hope I'm saying your name right. It's telling you you need something. And it's like, well, duh, I know, duh, right? But what if we just sat with that and be like, I'm hungry? So sometimes hunger can absolutely be thirst, right? So a lot of people aren't drinking enough water, but this idea of like going from barely drinking water or thinking, oh my gosh, I get water queens all the time and I always prove them wrong. They think so at first, but then later they realize that's not the case. But it's not about drinking a bunch of water to avoid hunger. It's about diving in deeper and having a better understanding of why you're hungry and honoring the fact that you're hungry and nourishing yourself appropriately. Nourishing yourself appropriately. So I would dig into that. And if you have considered it, be a part of my group this weekend, especially, or hop out on my plus size fit tips. Okay, yay. Yep, you got my name right. Oh, that just sounds interesting. Thanks so much. Ah, yes, your insight makes sense. Yeah. So what's the story? Here we go. What is the story that your brain is creating about you and being hungry? Ask yourself questions and see what answers you come up with. What is your brain making it mean? You might be really surprised. You're like, and don't like filter it. Like, just see what comes up. Just see what comes up. I could walk you through it more, but that's kind of some of the areas that I would look in. But why are you hungry, and what story is being made about it? J-Roo, I said it right. Okay, so I did see Bria Monet. Okay. So, gosh, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Oh, look, amazing women. Hold on. My glasses. I scared my cat. I was gonna use my phone to, look at the work, but I can't because I'm on my phone. Okay, here we go. I'm considering weight loss surgery. This is Bria. And I have a hard time sticking to my plans. In my head, the weight loss will force me to stick to something, but the logic doesn't feel right. Okay, I love the fact that you tapped into that, and I saw your other messages too. Okay, so I'm gonna read all three of your messages, and then we're gonna kind of dive into it, okay, Bria? So I love the fact that you tapped in, you recognize it doesn't feel right. This is not saying that weight loss surgery is good or bad, right? I work with a lot of women who've had weight loss surgery and gained it, and I work with women who choose weight loss surgery as a tool, okay? So thank you for bringing up weight loss surgery. I think you guys, and now those who are on the different injectables now, really get this idea it's the easy way out and things like that, and I don't believe in that BS. It is a tool. So what has worked really well for both those women is really diving into their brain set. So I'm considering weight loss surgeries because I'm having a hard time sticking to my plans. The weight loss surgery isn't going to shift that. So it's taking a tool and you're putting it on top of your current brain set. What would happen if you shifted your brain set in your relationship with yourself, fitness and nutrition, and then you chose that tool? Because remember, weight loss surgery is going to take you through a lot of classes. They need you to know a lot of information to get ready, okay? But what they don't do is they don't work on what's holding you back between the ears. They don't unravel what you've been through before. So listen to your gut, okay? And then she says, I need help with consistency. I would like to know, what do you feel consistency is? Because I will not make that assumption. So fill me in. Bria, I hope I'm saying that right, Bria Monet, I know I'm saying that second part right, fill me in on what you think consistency means to you. And then we'll tap into that. And then she says, I'm a med student, and my life is going to get even busier next year as an intern. I have a good grasp of the basics of weight loss, but I'm stuck right now tracking my food here and there. Okay, so I work with a lot of nurses, and I really feel I work with some doctors, but mostly nurses. And they're like third shift nurses, things like that. They don't have a lot of time, and they're great nurses who give a lot of themselves to other people, but have nothing left for themselves. So I help teach them how to pour into themselves so that they can give others the best of them versus the rest of them, okay? And so even though it's gonna get a lot busier next year, a lot of doctors are really bad about taking care of their own health, because in this process of learning how to care for others, where are you being taught on how to care for yourself? Or are you just magically supposed to take information on how to care for others and apply it to yourself? If that is not your current way of doing things or being or how you function, you're not going to apply the information to yourself. It's just too foreign to yourself. Does that make sense? So it's this is why we don't need more information. We need to understand application. And when you're tracking your food here and there, what are you looking for? What is the purpose of tracking your food? What are you accomplishing in tracking your food? What are you trying to accomplish in tracking your food? See how I'm asking you deeper questions? Because a lot of people will answer based off of what they see, right? What you've written. Or you'll see people will start giving you all this unsolicited advice and checking things out. Nobody's going to ask you the deeper questions. And this is the tool that I really want you to learn, is to ask yourself the deeper questions. So why are you doing all this stuff? Okay, let's see if you've answered me at all yet. Oh, thank you, Elamine. Let's see if she answers any of those questions. See, you get a little one-on-one coaching here. Little one-on-one coaching. In my coaching groups, I do coach one, coach all. And so again, I protect the safety of those in my group. I create these really loving environments. And so when I coach people one-on-one in these coach one, coach all environments, these small groups, it really is the most favorite type of coaching for other people, because they're hearing from their peers, and they're often things that they experience or think. What's that?
Nothing.
You okay?
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, my husband has multiple sclerosis, and so I feel like that I have eyeballs that go all around my head. And so I just saw him walking into the living room, and then he went from upright to on the ground with his walker. But now he's upright again, so we're good. Safe! We're good. No injuries, no problems. You good?
Yeah.
Say you love me.
Love you.
I love you. MS is a good time. Okay, so Bria Monet just replied. She says, to me, she's answering my question. She says, to me, consistency is sticking to the plans I make. I try to make the perfect plan. Perfect plan. I love the quotes, because your brain's telling you something. You know better. Try to make the perfect plan. Example, I'll say, I'm going to exercise 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and I'll only follow through for about a week. Okay, and then fall off. Awesome. Before you start working out 5 days a week, how many days a week were you working out, and for how long? Bria Monet. Because there's a reason why you're falling off. Because this plan that you're creating is based off of theory, not based off of reality. You're not taking consideration where you currently are in this moment. So the less you move, the less you're going to want to move. So I'll give you an example, because I'm really curious how many days a week you work out and for how long you've been doing that. So if you go from, I'll use an example, from not moving at all, right? Like those people go, oh, do things that bring you joy. Girl, if you struggle moving your body, there is no movement that brings you joy. It's like, I used to give that advice. It's the worst advice in the world. That's what I love about coaching and life coaching and fitness coaching, is I get to improve as I learn better. Okay, so Bria says 30 minutes a day, 2 to 3 times a week. How long have you been doing 30 minutes a day, 2 and 3 times a week? For how long have you been doing that? And also answer, why are you going from 2 to 3 days a week to 5 days a week. And you said consistency is sticking to plans. So when we create a plan, the universe is going to test your commitment to your commitment. And you need to be flexible. Girl, you are going to medical school, right? Isn't there a point where you could be on call? You need to know flexibility and to meet you in the season that you're in. Okay, well, for the past couple weeks, I've been at 0 times a week. Awesome, okay. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been at 0 times a week. So what currently is your body more accustomed to? 30 minutes a day, 2 to 3 times a week, or 0 times a week? So if it's been for the past couple of weeks, your body right now is more aligned with 0 times a week. And it sounds like, and again, not talking to you, so I'm kind of going off of what I've coached other people, so I'm speaking in generalities, okay? But what I'm getting is like you'll start this plan and then you'll fall off. You'll start this plan and fall off. You're supposed to. You're supposed to, because that's not your current way of being. You are not the type of person to work out 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day, ... yet. It's not a part of your current makeup. Chew on that for a minute. Your current brain set and the way you do things does not support working out 30 minutes a day for 2 to 3 days a week or 5 days a week. So it absolutely makes sense that your brain goes into overdrive to find any reasons to shut that ish down. That is your current way of being. That's your current programming. So it's a leap. And often people try to leap. They try to do the 180. On Monday, again, I'm speaking generalities. On Monday, I'm going to start this amazing workout program. I'm going to get up an hour earlier. I'm going to do all the meal prep, all that kind of stuff. And the meal prep and the food goes bad. It ends up being like we're eating like raw meat out of the freezer by 5 p.m. on the first day. And we're miserable, right? So it's too far outside of how you currently function. And so we try to create that leap, that 180 degrees. It never works. And then we're like, okay, what steps do I need to make? So we create these plans, which are the steps. But all of that is based off of theory. This is why I always teach people that, number one, don't start. It's your 2 to 4% of your day, Bria. Okay? It's your 2 to 4% of your day. It is not going to change your life. It's doing it backwards. What if instead you tapped into your 96 to 98% of your day and improved that, so that when you did bring in exercise into your life, it's the icing, it's the sprinkles of the icing on the cake, and that ish stays consistent, which is not perfectionism, it just means it meets you in the season, okay? And you actually stick with it. You're just doing things backwards. Does that make sense, Bria? And you might be like, it doesn't fully make sense, and it wouldn't because it's going to go against your current way of being. But your brain's going to say, warning, danger, this is not what we do, and it's going to fight like hell to stop you from moving your body. So well-laid plan is just pen to paper, right? Sounds really powerful. But if you go from not moving your body to trying to move your body 5 days a week, and then let's say you beat yourself up for it or start saying I'm not consistent, etc., it's just going against your programming and your way of being. And you can shift that. This is why working between the ears first. And I would do that in your current state before your internship starts. It definitely makes sense. Yeah, so it's not a problem. It's not you're doing something wrong. It's not you lack consistency or motivation's BS anyways. Any of those things, it's just not your current way of functioning, and you're trying to create a leap. And then you're looking at the steps, and that's not where you want to work. You want to work in the tweaks, because we don't want the brain to get overwhelmed. We don't even want the brain to notice that we're doing the stuff. We want it to like not pay attention. So you work in the tweaks so it flies under the brain's radar of overwhelm. So cool. She says it definitely makes sense. So what this is doing is just creating a new way of looking at things, or a realization, or like, okay, that you're opening up to it. So we can't make any changes if we don't get to a point of just like opening up to information or being aware of it, right? Your brain's going to take you right back to whatever your current programming is. But we've planted a seed. There's just a little seed of evidence that if you decide to tap into that, like coming to my class this weekend, or, you know, at brainsetgo.com, or if you want to check out my plus size fit tips, you can add more evidence, more examples. It's such a simplified process, you guys. This is why I help people change your relationship with themselves, fitness and nutrition. And I help them do that so that fitness and nutrition comes with ease, not easy, with ease. You know those people who like work out consistently and eat healthy without it, you know, without binging, craving? Hello, that's me now. But the reason why that's me now is because I help create this current version of myself on the back of my old version of myself, because the mechanisms were all there. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, you guys, I've been on here for nearly an hour. I typically don't do lives for sure on days I'm doing coaching calls, but I have an amazing group of women that I'm coaching tonight that have been with me for a little bit. So I'm gonna rest up a little bit and get ready for that coaching call. But if this was helpful to you, I would love to know what was helpful to you. If there is something you'd love to know more about, I'm happy to dive into that. And if you get any unsolicited advice from somebody else, this is the time to practice it. Because I'm a big believer, like if you ask me for information, somebody else gives you information that wasn't asked for, make sure that you learn to set those boundaries. There's a lot of really bad advice out there that's gotten us really confused. And what I help you do is untangle that. Untangle that. All right. Talk to you guys soon. I don't know how to turn this off. I will figure it out. But if it was helpful to you, let me know.